By this time, everyone is eagerly awaiting Justin Jefferson's return to the 53-man roster because, hey, look, we could really use him on offense. Our run game is basically non-existent. Jordan Addison's been flying around making some really decent plays. It seems like we got a very good draft pick out of him. KJ Osborne got banged up last week. He should be at least be fine for this weekend's matchup. But what's going on with Justin Jefferson? Is he going to be activated? Is he going to play? Let's dive into it. It doesn't sound like he's going to play this Sunday against the New Orleans Saints, but there's optimism that he could end up being back for the week after that game. Can't remember off the top of my head who it is that we're playing against, but he's not going to be playing against the Saints, and that's because Kevin O'Connell actually yesterday or last night gave a little answer on whether or not Justin Jefferson would be activated or what the problem is. So Heavy.com actually dove through this in an article, and let's get right to it. So it said, among the most impressive elements of the Minnesota Vikings 4-game win streak is that it happened entirely without the help of their best player, wide receiver Justin Jefferson. Now, Jefferson left the team's loss to the Kansas City Chiefs on October 8th with a hamstring strain and ended up on IR, a designation that requires a player to remain inactive for at least 4 weeks. That time period ended after Sunday's comeback victory against the Atlanta Falcons, opening up the possibility for Jefferson to return to the roster. Now, head coach Kevin O'Connell spoke to Jefferson's status on Monday, offering both good and bad news on his situation. This is what KOC said. It's possible we will open up his 21-day window on Wednesday. That is what he said about Justin Jefferson. Talking about a practice window, as Jefferson is eligible to return from IR this week, would indicate that the Vikings aren't expecting JJ to play Sunday versus the Saints. That was Jonathan Jones of CBS who wrote that on Twitter, or the new, it's called X now, if you will, but most of us remember it as Twitter. So saying that he's going to open up the 21-day practice window basically means they don't expect Justin to be back this weekend. It's because, look, the Saints are a very beatable team, and the 21-day practice window basically just means that, hey, we're going to open up his practice window. He has 21 days to really, see how that hamstring feels, see if the Minnesota Vikings actually want to activate him, because if they don't activate him within that 21 days, then he ends up on season-ending injury reserve. That's not going to happen. Justin's going to be back one way or another this season, whether we like it or not. It's not going to be after the bye week, even though that's a couple weeks away, which would make a lot of sense because that 21-day window would give us enough time to activate him by that time. So that's kind of my first expectation, was maybe he does wait until after the bye week, just because we're not sure how the season's going to go, and why not get 100% healthy to make a playoff push. But I think Justin wants to get back on the field like ASAP, and I think he's ready to rock and roll. And Kevin O'Connell, during his press conference, basically said that Justin Jefferson has been phenomenal with his rehab as of recent. So there's a good chance he does get activated. His 21-day practice window does get activated. We'll find that out basically, or more than likely, tomorrow, if that is going to be the case. Now, doctors initially said that Jefferson's injury would keep him out at least 4 to 6 weeks, and Jones' report that the wideout is unlikely to play this weekend against New Orleans tracks with that timeline. Now, Kevin O'Connell was adamant that Minnesota would not rush its all-pro back from injury, which he added might necessitate, I believe, protecting Jefferson from himself. So basically all they're doing is saying, hey, Justin, we know you want to get back in there. Maybe you're not 100% ready. We'd rather have you be 100% than 80%, than even 90%, or even 95%. We want you to be 100% healthy, and we're going to protect you from yourself. So whenever that is when you're going to play. Now, the Vikings' success since Jefferson's injury has ensured the team won't rush him back, because they have been able to win without him, even in the absence of quarterback Kirk Cousins. Now, new starter Joshua Dobbs came in on Sunday against Atlanta with extremely limited knowledge of the playbook and no experience with the center or wide receivers, yet was still able to lead Minnesota on a game-clinching drive that ended with a touchdown and just 22 seconds remaining on the clock. Now, while the playoffs are now a realistic possibility for the Vikings, Jefferson has other incentives to return as well. Namely, he is eligible for a contract extension, is expected to sign the richest deal for a wide receiver in NFL history. So do I expect Justin Jefferson to play this year? Absolutely. I don't think his hamstring's going to keep him out the rest of the year. Maybe it would have if, say, how we started out 1-4. let's say we start out 1-8 or something like that, then I could see the possibility of Justin Jefferson missing the entire season, or at least not coming back until after that bye week. But right now, I think Justin wants to play. We have a chance of making the playoffs. I mean, we're sitting above 500 at 5-4. We need Justin back to take some eyes off of Jordan. And what Jordan has been able to do as of recent, defensive backs are now going to have to worry about not only Justin, but Jordan as well. Imagine that duo on the field. It's going to be extremely explosive as long as we can get that run game going. If we can get the run game going, everything will fall in place, and we are going to be a very, very good team because our defense has been flying around. They've been making plays. They've definitely turned around the season compared to what they were at the beginning of the year, even though they were still pretty solid. But the beginning there was mainly just the turnover ratio and stuff like that. But finally, our defense is starting to click, starting to get more turnovers, starting to put the ball in our offense's hands. So I expect Justin Jefferson to be back. He's not going to play against the New Orleans Saints. It'll be probably in 2 weeks. Could be longer than that, but only time will tell. We'll find out tomorrow what the Vikings decide to do with Justin Jefferson, and they might open his 21-day practice window. So you guys can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you want Justin Jefferson to rush back, or do you want him to hold off a little bit as we continue to stack these wins, if you will? Just let me know in the comment section below. Drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much, much appreciated. Have a great rest of your night, folks, and Skol Vikes.